Excuse Pete making a racket in the background. So why have I got the rocker cover off of the VW Caddy, guys? Well, I drove it home last night and it actually drove really well. It's got bags of power, the suspension is great, the handling's great. I couldn't you know, knock it for anything driving wise, but this morning when I started it I had a bit of a racket in the engine bay, and it's hard to describe exactly what it was. It sounded a bit flappity. I couldn't really decide what it was. But as soon as the car got warm after a few minutes, it wasn't there anymore at all. It's not bottom end, that's all good. There's zero smoke coming out the car when you the van when you start it. Zero smoke coming out. Like I say, it's all got all the performance there. There's no knocking or driving. As soon as it's warm after a few minutes, it sounds perfect, and you know, you can leave it standing for a couple of hours and do it again, it starts perfect again. So I went over to Lee at Barham Engines. You know, I go to him for my advice on the engines, and he said what these can do is leak past the injector seal, and it will leave sort of diesel sitting in the cylinder. So when you start it, you get a bit of diesel knock at the beginning. So we wanted to just take the rocker cover off and just check that things like the cam and all that were good, and everything up this end is all in really good nick. I've had Lee come over and check it. It's all in really good nick. So we're gonna have to put it back together again and try again. I was interrupted then talking about the Volkswagen because someone's come and bought the i10. A couple that came and saw me about sorry, i20. They came and saw me about an i10 before, but they've come along and bought the i20. The lady's had a lot of drives round. She came back and said she really enjoyed it, but I said no, you haven't been out long enough, go out again. So she's been out again in it, and she's really happy with it. She's got an old Megane which has got a horrible gearbox on it, so she really liked the drive of the i20. We scored a deal at 3195 on it. We agreed to 3195, I had it up for 3295, didn't I? So 3195. I'm just going to bring you in, double check the front brakes because I did get a bit of a squeal on them. I've got to change the boot struts on the boot hatch so it doesn't fall on the head and crack anybody. Just give it another quick clean, and then that is at the door. But I have some more messages on my phone on that very same car, and some on the Kia. Well, I've left the phone inside, so I need to go and jump check what they're about. Now the guy with the white i10, you remember me saying I wasn't still happy with the noise from the i10. Now it has actually got a hell of a lot better. I ran it again today and it has got quite a lot quieter, so I do think it's something sticky in the valve train. Anyway, he's come and had a listen. He says he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He says he can't really hear it at all. He's had a little drive of it and he's happy as Larry with it. He's really keen to get it home. So that deal is going ahead then. So I've just got to do a little bit more paint on it for him because we just spotted a little bit on that front wing and we want to sort for him, and then that car's all ready to go for him. And potentially we're supposed to have a viewing on the 500 tomorrow, the convertible. So I might even get round to getting back onto the bloody Alfa Romeo once all this is sorted out. Big hi to the couple that came by in their VW camper a minute ago and said hello. They're on holiday. Sorry I didn't catch your name, but lovely to see you. Thanks for popping by and saying hi. And that is a beautiful camper you've got there as well, by the way. So yeah, it's all go at the moment. It's all go. I've got invoices to get out. I've got last final bits of prep to get out, but it looks like I could finish the month pretty much out of stock. It looks like the only things I might have is the Rio and the 500, and obviously the Alfa that I haven't got for sale yet, and the Caddy that I haven't really got for sale yet, but everything else has shifted. So busy time. So I've got to get a lot done. I'm going to pull some. I want to get it all crammed in. I know that for me it doesn't make any difference when the money comes in this month or it comes in the beginning of next month, but for my sort of numbers when I target myself, I really would like to finish this month getting them all out of the door and all paid for within the month, so we can have a proper strong month. And that gives me a bit of breathing space as well, because for that crossover to get into the new unit as well, if I can have a strong month this month. Last video, a lot of you guys were doing your nut about the colour match on the Ford Ka on the wing to the bonnet and bumper. Now, come on guys, you should have a little bit more faith. You knew I was going to send it out like that. I've just spent the last couple of hours machine polishing the whole car, and although it is a shade lighter, it's nowhere near as bad as it looked on camera yesterday. It was very oxidised. I've gone over and machine polished the whole car, and it's blended in a lot better now. Front bumper was a bit pinky to the bonnet. The wing was a bit pinky to the bonnet, but I've got over the whole thing now, machine polished it all, and we've got a lovely shine on the go, and it blends in a lot better. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's nowhere near as bad as it looked like it was on camera yesterday. So yeah, you guys should have known I was never going to let a subscriber's parents go out the door with a car that didn't get the full treatment. So guys, it's following morning, I've come in, I've been reading more comments on the Ford Ka and the paint colour difference, and as per the clip you've just seen before, I did machine polish the whole car. That was my full intention all along. I thought it was probably just more oxidised more than anything. I don't mean there's, like I said, I don't mean the paint match is bang on, but it certainly doesn't look as bad as it did in the camera. But some of the comments were a little bit strong. They were saying things like I'd bamboozled or scammed the couple that had bought the car. Now, I need to be clear about a few things in my sales process. For starters, when this car was coming in, I spoke to this couple and told them I had a Cat N car coming in. It had some panel repair. It was coming in, what the mileage was going to be, and they were interested in the car. And I said, well, look, when it arrives, you can look it over. I took no deposits, no money, nothing. They came in to look at the car, and I was busy selling the Mazda at the time, the MX-5. So, and the guy that was here will be able to confirm, no doubt in the comments, this is the case, that I left them with the car for a good half hour or more while we went out for a test drive in the Mazda, and they had a good look around the car. I think they had to drive around the industrial estate a bit, and I left them to it. I don't stand over people when they come to look at cars because I don't want to push my personal opinion on them. I want them to have their own opinion, and I allow them, you know, I can give them the facts about mechanical stuff and ownership and all that kind of stuff, but I don't give them my personal opinion of anything in terms of bodywork or anything like that. I let them look around it themselves. Now, as you know, I've come from a strong background in sales for well over 20 years, and I did bloody well at it. I generated tens of millions of pounds worth of business over the years with the various companies I worked with. I ran big sales teams, and you know, I'd call myself a pretty successful salesperson, but as yet I've not managed to have the ability to affect people's eyesight. That's not a skill I picked up anywhere along the line. So I wasn't able to somehow, you know, blindfold these people and walk them around the car. They had a look around the car for themselves, and they decided they were happy with the car as it was. Now, not everybody's bothered about perfect colour matches. Not everybody's concerned about those things. You know, the attraction for this car is probably the 14,000 miles and the fact it's about £1,500 cheaper than the equivalent car non-cat. And, you know, some people were saying in the comments, oh, well, you know, you want to check the rest of the car out, and you look out for damage on that side of things, and, you know, it might not be roadworthy and all this kind of stuff. This car was assessed by a professional and deemed as a Cat N, a non-structural car. So a non-structural damage. Cat N is non-structural damage. A professional assessor deemed this car as having no structural damage at all. It was just panel damage. Now, again, I'm not a full-blown mechanic, but I don't think a wing really has the ability to affect the drive of a car. I don't think a bonnet has the ability to affect the drive of a car. You know, I've driven plenty of these KAs, and I can tell you I've had plenty of non-cat KAs that don't drive anywhere near as well as this car does. As obviously with the low miles it does, it drives particularly well. But I've had plenty of non-cat cars that I'm pretty sure, based on the paint, have had wings and bumpers before, that drive a hell of a lot better, a hell of a lot worse than this car does. And I've had to do numerous repairs on. This car drives perfectly, and don't forget, it also had an advisory-free MOT on it. Now, don't get me wrong, I know some people had genuine concerns, but then there's just the trolls that just put stuff down for the hell of it. So I'm not knocking any of those people that had genuine concerns about the colour match and a genuine interest in the colour match. It's just those people that were trolling and, you know, just basically want to be on the net just to be nasty for the sake of being nasty, to be honest. I don't repair every bump and scratch on all of the cars I sell. Do you know what I mean? I mean, no one had any concerns about the white Hyundai that I got in as a cat car. You know, we're having a slight mismatch in some of the paint, because they know that mechanically it's sound. They spent the time going through it, and like the Kia here, I did the bumper corners, but I'm not going to go around and do every dent and scratch on the bodywork. It's just not financially viable at this price point to do that. So yeah, anyway, that's all I'll say on the matter on it. Like I say, I know some people had genuine concerns or genuine interests, but those people that somehow, he's just testing an alpha, those people that seem to think I somehow managed to scam a couple that I left to their own devices, they're adults with their own free will, and they were left plenty of time to look around the car, guys, so they're clearly happy with the paint. Anyway, onto the Caddy. So with the Caddy, we had the strange noise from the engine, couldn't get it to do all day yesterday until a lady came to view it at 5 o'clock, and it had been sat since about, I'd say, 11 o'clock in the morning, and it made the noise again. I immediately got Lee over from Barham Engines. He came over, he stuck his head over the engine bay, says it is not coming from the engine. And that's pretty much what I thought, because like I say, we took the rocker cover off, the cams and all that were great, the rockers are great, all that kind of stuff. I've never had any smoke or poor performance or anything. And he said if it was something mechanical, it really shouldn't quiet down after it gets warm that quickly. He seems to think he was hearing it right at the back, more like the exhaust area. Now I can't imagine what down there would be impacted by temperature, but we're going to get on the ramp and have a little look later today, because other than that the vehicle drives perfectly. It may well have to be sold with that as a known fault, and then what I would do in those circumstances is warranty the engine for 12 months, so they've got the confidence that when I say I don't think it's actually a problem with the engine, that I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and that if the engine should fail, I'll sort it out, which I don't think it's going to do. Like I say, I'm going to try and track down when this noise is coming from. It may have to be sold as is. Still haven't got around to valeting yet. You're going to try and get onto that today. Here's the noise, guys. Almost sounds like something rattling about in there. But as soon as it gets warm, it stops. We check the camshaft and all the rockers, they all seem good. It's almost like there's something floating around, knocking about in there. But as soon as it gets warm, it disappears. They won't do it for the rest of the day. Now the only thing we've got down here, we know it's had a cam belt recently, and I don't know if they have to remove the fuel pump for that, whether that could have been incorrectly put in, but it almost sounds down here somewhere as well. But once that's gone, once the engine's warm, it sounds sweet as a nut. Blooming heck, guys, another sale. So the Fiat 500 convertible's just sold, and he's paid up straight away for it, so that's going into this month's numbers as well. Got 4,845 for it, so 150 quid less than I was asking. I was asking 4,995 for it. I think Auto Trader said it was 5,300, something like that, but just a really lovely couple that came to look at that, and they were going to part exchange an Alfa Romeo Spider in, but I couldn't get near what kind of money they wanted for it, so I just let them have 150 quid off the price of the car. So we're going to bring that in now and give it a service, because it's already got the long MOT on it. It was only done last month, and it just give it a clean off, and they're picking it up tomorrow, so that one's out the door as well. So we're pretty much sold out now. Only really got the Rio left. The only car I've got left is the Rio. Busy time.